Guys, this is Tarot by Tess with your teen reading. I almost forgot who I was doing. Virgos, thank you. Oh, okay. For a second, I thought I got your card because it looks a lot like the Hermit. But this is Justice. Okay, that's at the bottom of your clarification deck. It doesn't look like Justice; it looks like the Hermit. Sorry, something popping up on the computer. Okay. On the bottom of your primary, we have the Ace of Cups reversed, and I do see this getting turned down in your final outcome, so I feel like that's happening here. But this could also be overwhelming emotions and passion. I feel like the screen's too bright for some reason. Sorry about that. Right. Ace of Cups reversed is also talking about fantasies, and you do have Seven of Cups in here, so I think some of that's going on here. But with it in reverse, it's like revolutionary fantasies, maybe something a little abnormal. And then on a more somber note, we have repressed emotions, which is also in your current situation with the King of Cups in reverse. So I think it's dealing with repressing emotions and also repressing possibly fantasies, okay? And the reason I bring that up is because I have a new deck. I think it's La Scarborough, which is a very sexual deck. So if you have kids that watch this, please don't let them watch. It's very detailed. So I'll be pulling one of those for each one at the end. But usually Ace of Cups reversed is like turning something down, somebody, having a false heart, the relationship might be ending. Basically, it's a change or mutation. So your relationship, for those of you in one, could be changing for the better. Like if you've been bored, it could change something more exciting, like the Seven of Cups instead of the Four of Cups. And that's in your outcome, so we'll get there. All right, the first one is your current situation, what's coming towards you, your advice, and then your final outcome or potential outcome. So your current situation, I only got the King of Cups reversed. And it's not a whole lot of information, especially since it's a court card. So I thought first, dealing with Scorpio. Especially whenever you're coming towards you, we got death. So most likely a Scorpio involved, but it could be any water sign. Or this could just be talking about you and repressed emotions. But usually when I see a water sign, I think water sign. Like if it's going to be something else, I don't know, the Hermit reversed. That wouldn't tell me repressed emotions, even though it would tell me Virgo. So I feel like that could be why this is here if it's not a water sign. But this is somebody who's repressing their emotions. I do see it too emotional as well. There's lots of cups in reverse, so it tells me too emotional. With death in here, it talks about possessive, and that's very scorpionic. That's a word I use. So if you are dealing with a Scorpio, or you have Scorpio in your chart, or you're just very, very sexual like a Scorpio, this could tell me you're being, very possessive and erotic, but you've been repressing these emotions or the sexuality that you have, and it feels like it's an injustice to you because you have to kind of lie or be dishonest because this would bring about a scandal. And there could be more added to this, so I clarified. You notice his cup is in reverse, and then this cup is in reverse as well. So clarifying it, we had the Five of Swords, which says win or lose, and then we have Three of Pentacles, which is reach out. Now when you have Three of Pentacles and death, it talks about a total transformation. So that kind of brings up the idea of Ace of Cups in reverse being a revolution. Something's changing within you, within your relationship, if you have one. But you could be going on a sexual revolution about something you've been repressing, or even emotions you've been repressing. Whether or not you're in a relationship, doesn't matter. And I feel like you're going to reach out to somebody, or you're going to go for something, maybe even something like menage a trois, because we're talking about risky things here. Win or lose, you're going to do it anyway. I just get worried that the Five of Swords is in here because I think this is a love reading, and you don't really want Five of Swords in a love reading. It's almost like people are working together and then something happens, like somebody's trying to one-up somebody, or somebody's trying to take, the lead when it's supposed to be teamwork. Okay. I'm just a little nervous that that's in here. Especially when King of Cups is reversed, because sometimes King of Cups reversed is somebody who's very promiscuous and they lie, so it could be somebody who likes to cheat, especially if we have three people here, and then we have a devious partner with the Five of Swords here. Okay. It also talks about too much of something as well, this Five of Swords. And with justice, that would talk about a crime. And this King of Cups person isn't very nice. I don't like him in reverse. Doesn't usually talk about crime. It does talk about dishonesty and scandal and injustice. So in that way, possibly going rogue is also something with the King of Cups. So this could be you. It could be somebody else you know. And this Three of Pentacles could just be a third party. It talks about crime and talks about working together. So could be a crime of the heart, where somebody's betrayed with a third party, or people are working together like in cahoots to commit a crime. And it might even be a crime actually. It could be something that's just taboo. Again, because we have this revolution going on. Okay, so what's coming towards you? We have the Three of Wands reversed and Death. So this is our first major arcana in the spread. And then you get one more major arcana with Chariot in your outcome. That's only after I clarified. This came out in your actual spread. And then you have Justice at the bottom of the clarification. That's only after the clarification deck. So again, could be Scorpio because we do have 2 Scorpio cards in here. Seven of Cups is Scorpio too, just so you know. They could be any water sign or it could be anybody. Pardon me. I'm just thinking. Because Chariot's here, it talks about somebody not choosing the other person or the other woman in your potential outcome. So if there's, a third party, they're not going to choose that extra person. If you're that third party, they're not going to choose you. And then we have not waiting for somebody. So it could be advice for you not to wait for somebody. You're not going to wait or they're not going to wait. Because it all depends on who you are in the spread. And I do feel like there's no new beginning in love, but there is just sexual passion. I think there's an affair going on because we do have the Ace of Wands, we have the Six of Pentacles, we have somebody who's promiscuous and they've been repressing something. So if somebody hasn't been happy in their relationship, they be getting fulfillment elsewhere. And this could be you too, but we can get more into that later. If you're single, it's saying soon you're going to find somebody. You find somebody through work. There's a possible workplace bully with the Three of Pentacles and Five of Swords. And it could be a water sign for some people. But I am going to be pulling a sexual deck for this. So, and there are some sexual cards in here. I guess there's a little bit of work in here, but this could just be somebody who's, not very nice. And so they come across as a coworker bully. You could work with this person, but they could just be a bully in general. And Death says you're going to have a transformation. You're going to see this person's true ways, especially if they're King of Cups reversed. I'm seeing that you're going to have faith in the face of anything negative because there is something coming. There's a cycle going on. I mean, you have Death in sevens, which we have at least 2 sevens here. There is a cycle going on. There needs to be a weighing of the pros and cons, but somebody be too emotional to do it or not emotionally balanced. They've been repressing it. And Justice here, plus King of Cups, says there does need to be some kind of a decision made. But Death also talks about corruption, possibly obsession and sexual passion. It's like being devoured by your own sexual passion almost, I think. So that could be the sign of the affair or just, again, somebody having some kind of sexual revolution or rebirth. And then with Ace of Wands in here, your advice in Death, I'm seeing like you kind of get no support for this passion you have, which could be that one taken out of the Four of Wands. You have 3, but if you take one out, or if you put one in, that's 4 of Wands. If you take one out, then you have 3 of Wands. So not only do you have 3 of Wands, but it's also in reverse. So there is some instability here. So something that is on shaky ground, especially if there's a marriage or just a relationship that's been exclusive. And then with Ace of Cups reversed, it's like motivation has been repressed, emotions, sex. And 2 of Cups here, if there's an affair, it could be the end of a relationship, possibly even the end of a friendship. Something is expired. And there is a need to release something. Okay, but with the 3 of Wands, there is this idea of 1, overwhelming demands, 2, being rude with the 5 of Swords here. It's a need to release and restart past some kind of rude behavior. With 2 of Cups as well in here in your advice, it talks about a relationship therapist. I'm talking about third parties. So if somebody has something that you think is like an aberrant sexual fantasy, that'd be something you want to go seek counseling with them with to kind of see what you can work on. And then with Ace of Cups reversed, or Ace of Cups in general, it talks about learning another culture. But with both of these in reverse, to me it feels like you just can't get with the program, or somebody can't get with the program when it comes to you regarding this area. And so somebody's just really conceited, really arrogant, really rude. That's what's coming towards you. Most likely a Scorpio, just because of the cards that are here. It doesn't have to be. Now, some of you really are going to see a relationship therapist. Clear Six of Pentacles, and that's a therapist. And when you have Justice and Six of Pentacles, everything works out in your favor. And usually this guy buffers any kind of injustice, especially that King of Cups would cause, because he's injustice in reverse. But Justice is upright. So I think everything is going in your favor. But especially because now you have the Six of Pentacles, which is even more of a buffer. So I feel like you're almost going to be immune to this, whatever it is. Yeah. But I'm also seeing somebody's having to divide their attention between two people. You need to get some advice. Yeah, you can probably get some advice. And you're still standing up for yourself if there's some kind of, tension between you and someone else. Especially if there's a coworker bully. I just feel like there's a bully. It doesn't have to be a coworker, though. Okay. But it can. There could be some work in here because we do have enough pentacles. I feel like there's more that I'm not really seeing here. And with the Three of Wands and Death, I feel like there's some kind of a bonding going on, like indulging somebody in whatever it is they want. You're trying to have equal give and take. So you're trying to, if you're in a relationship or if you're just dating somebody, you're really trying to, show reciprocity, especially when it comes to sexuality or sexual things. But, but with Death here, it talks about transformative lovers. So you may have recently met somebody. Maybe you don't really like them in person or at work, but outside of work, you guys have some kind of a, tumultuous affair, whatever. I'm just giving you an example. But you guys are coming together. You are going to agree with somebody on something. You are going to have some kind of a contract or a deal. You're going to have balance and respect, especially right next to the Six of Pentacles too. You're going to be united with somebody. You're going to connect with somebody. It's going to be a very good connection. If you've been repressing emotions, that's possible. But again, this Two of Cups with the different areas is showing me there's some kind of end to a relationship or end to a friendship. Now, it doesn't have to be bad, especially if there's a third party. If you guys somehow got into a menage a trois and it involved a friend, I'm seeing that friendship's probably over. Because, yeah. But it could be the end of friendship that turns into something more. So that's a possibility here. Also, I'm seeing truce with enemy. So again, this person is probably a coworker bully. You probably have a truce, and then all of a sudden, bam! Like you guys are like in the closet humping or something. I don't know. But there's lots of harmony, and that's in your advice as well as just showing me what's happening here. And it's going to turn into more. It's not just sexual, but there's so much sexual energy in here. I have to talk about it. Now, this person is very sexual. They repress a lot of things, or you've been repressing. It could be both. And they could sometimes get easily bored. And so they do things for excitement. And so that's something to watch. And it causes a lot of emotions to stir up. But I feel like you're going to stick it out. But you may just feel like maybe you can't support certain inclinations, certain proclivities. But it looks like you're going to come together on some things. And this is a very phallic card. So I feel like, yes, have that passionate start. So thumbs up from the universe. We got, close to a penis as we can with the universal rider weight. Don't worry, we'll get the full details in this deck. If should one of those cards come up. But you actually get to kind of see this person be vulnerable and what it is that they prefer. Yeah, definitely a big transformation or transition coming up. And you're trying to have equal give and take. But it's really just going to be between two people. If you try 3 people, it's not going to work. So just don't even bother with it, honestly. All right, so in your advice, sorry, I need a drink. We have the Ace of Wands. So again, just a reminder, it's a thumbs up. This says be true to what it is you believe. So if you really don't want to do something, don't do it. Now, if this is not a committed relationship, okay, especially if it's with somebody you work with, ladies. For females, when you have this with the Two of Cups, which we do, it's clarifying it. It says, for a woman, this relationship is dangerous for your reputation. So this means this person is probably, King of Cups reversed. They cause scandal. They're the rogue. It's passion. Okay. But take care of yourself too. Okay. You have to be very clear about what you want in love. And if they don't want to give it to you, then move on. That's what I see with Seven of Cups here. So make sure you state exactly what you want from this person. Don't leave any room for error. Like, I want a committed relationship, or I don't want anything with you, just sex. Okay. So you have to be very clear and listen to what the other person has to say. Because I'm afraid you may cloud your thoughts with your realistic thoughts. Okay. You may cloud those with self-delusion. So be careful. Really listen to what they have to say, because most guys will tell you the truth if you ask them. You have to actually listen to what they say. So when a guy tells you something, believe him. That's for the ladies out here, because it actually talks about for a female. Yeah, you are starting this new phase. There's a huge mutual attraction between you guys. And almost it's going to be like an achievement for you with this King of Cups person. Like, you're going to feel like you achieved some kind of a sexual revolution, actually. And it's going to be like tackling a challenge for you, and you're just going to go for it. Pretty interesting. And I think even though this is dangerous for your reputation, the Ace of Wands isn't reversed. So I don't actually like seeing you like going into ruin or anything like that. But because we have so much emotional and sexual repression here, your advice is the Ace of Wands upright. When it's upright, or when it's in reverse, sorry. When it's in reverse, it says emotional sexual repression. Exactly. But it's upright. This is saying don't repress your emotions or your sexuality. Or don't repress your emotions about somebody's sexuality. Or don't repress your sexuality for somebody's emotions. Okay, it's like coming together in agreement. Okay? So, your advice is don't repress anymore. Let it out. If somebody wants to turn their back on you, let it be. Okay, so now in your outcome, we have the Page of Wands. This is like spontaneity, being bold, especially, if it's about sex, it's kind of just random, okay? But it's like that spark, especially starting over. So again, if you, your relationship turned from bully to more romantic, or it could have turned from a friendship that was over to something more. Or again, if there were 3 people, a friendship could have ended, that kind of thing. But I'm seeing this as starting over. So again, if you've had a truce with an enemy, like was indicated, this could be starting over again. Maybe unexpected. But also, in your outcome, the Page of Wands talks about behaving freely. So no more repression anymore. It's like as if you say, okay, I'm not going to repress emotions anymore, and I don't. And you actually follow through with it. And even though the love be sudden, it may not be here very long for some people, because it may be a little immature. But it's one of those love, as I love unlike any other card. So it's definitely going to start a revolution. It's going to spark something in you. Almost like, Ace of Wands is kind of like bringing somebody to life. It's a vitality card. And you're going to see love in a different way from a new perspective after this. But it does talk about smooth sailing, dating, having fun, kind of having that revolution, broadening your horizons, seeing things out there. Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm seeing here. So it's pretty good, but mostly behaving freely. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles. So this could be for, a female Virgo. This could be you. But with Queen of Pentacles, she's very much into long-term relationships, assessing people for their loyalty. But she's overall a really good person. She's intelligent, she's generous, and she likes security, but she also likes liberty. So here I'm saying behaving freely and liberty. So if it's not you that's described in there, it's just talking about behaving freely. Also with Six of Pentacles, this is a nurturer. So I think you need to nurture the idea of behaving more freely. But also she's just very nice. And also I've seen not being very suspicious, very trustworthy, and you want a stable relationship. And so you're very practical about this, and you want to make sure that's known. You're going to assess this person to make sure that it's not just, one night stand type of deal. Because you're not actually looking for that. You do want the sexual, I don't know, sexual, I can only think of research, I can't think of it, exploration. But you still want something that's long term. All right, so next you had the Seven of Cups, which again is fantasy, lust. It's giving into fantasy. It says there's lots of potential, there's lots of charm, lots of attraction. It also says you have choices when you come to dating, especially with Page of Wands in here. And it says you're gonna go for it. But it's just all about lust here. Not true love yet, okay? But there's potential for it with the Two of Cups here. And I'm also seeing, for some people, if this is about work, you're going to make progress at work. You're going to be very practical, down to earth, that kind of thing. But the next card is the Chariot. And to me, this is about moderation of, love, feelings, whatever it is. So again, behave freely, but still have some moderation. Don't go to one extreme. And then, because if you've been repressing, that's one extreme. And then don't go straight to the other in like a bipolar type fashion. Just, moderation. Okay. But it makes me feel like there's a choice. What do you have to moderate? And it's between tons of lust and passion and excitement. And the other side is boredom and looking for the next opportunity. So some of you you do get, or this other person can get bored quite easily and try to find more excitement. Because they do have a lot of spontaneity here and behaving freely. And somebody don't want to be chained down in that way. But they just see it in the wrong way. They see it as a chain as opposed to just having a commitment. So that your choices moderate between like lust and opportunities to be bored, or having a wandering eye should you get bored. It also talks about inhibition, so free and inhibitions. You just have to kind of have a balance between those two things. Okay. Now, let's get over here. Well, I do want to talk about Justice a little bit because I didn't talk about her too much. With the Chariot, and this card says it's a speeding ticket. So again, don't go too fast because you're going to get dinged. Have a moderation between these two. Again, with Five of Swords, there is some kind of crime or dishonesty going on. I keep wanting to think this is the Hermit, so I'm having to reach thoughts around. Sometimes the Six of Pentacles with Justice says, yes, things could get resolved in your favor, but sometimes there's still inequality in giving and receiving. And I think you're trying to work on that. So that's good. We have a transformative lover, but somebody who's also very logical. And so people are having to try to reconcile, weigh the pros and cons of what to do. Again, if somebody's been repressed, they reveal these inclinations. That's like a mystery that's revealed with the Justice here. It could be a Libra. I'm seeing you can actually make things work. Just watch your reactions to other actions. You still have to go with your conscience, okay? But if you can kind of work on things and tweak things and actually work, but just don't, go against your own integrity, because the right decision will happen here. It's just going to take a lot of balance. I have a lot of balance in here. So again, moderation, no repression, but no complete abandon. Okay, whatever that is to you. Okay. I've also seen just be fair, be honest, tell the truth, and you'll be victorious. Maybe you need to accept responsibility for something, or somebody else does. That just see lots of transformation, almost like becoming a new person, because something's no longer being repressed anymore. And I want to know what it is. Please tell me, because Virgos, I do not see you guys as, I see you as boring almost. And so to see all this excitement in here is interesting. All right, so what is Virgo's current situation from the sexy deck? That's what I'm going to call it, because it's Scorpio. I don't have to read this too, because it's different than the Rider-Waite. Capricorn Tarot? Oh, okay, it's the Capricorn. It has a bunch of ugly men and a bunch of beautiful women. That's so not fair. I don't know if this counts, but we can still look at it. Okay, Ten of Pentacles. So it's about a relationship or maybe a job opportunity. But she's totally naked. So I can talk about money, those kinds of things, but I feel like somebody's wanting a relationship, but also if you've been in a relationship and you've recently come out of it, you'd be going on a freedom spree, I guess you could call it. And then it's playing with the bag. Oh my goodness. Sorry, it's fluff, I guess. But also this is a repression or repressive type of relationship or tradition. So some of you not even be in a relationship, but you've gone through a lot of beliefs that you've had that have repressed you. Okay, what is coming towards Virgos? Man, are you kidding me? it flipped all around. I'm not going to read these in reverse, just because it's so new to me. Fluff, cut out. Okay, what's up right anyway? It's the Two of Wands. So making a decision, and it's like spreading your wings and being free. So again, that's what's coming towards you. But please be careful, because when I look in here, I mean, this guy back here, he has a wolf mask. Now, for some people, that's a fetish. Okay, so if that's it, fine. But just make sure that, you know, he's behind her and she hasn't seen that he's taken off his wolf mask, or he's about to put it on, or it kind of doesn't bode well for this. So I don't know. I just happen to notice it, and he's behind her. So, and just talk about Two of Wands can talk about a devious partner. So do be careful. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Let's get another one. All right. What else is coming towards Virgos for the month of November? Yeah, I do want to mention something real quick while I'm looking at it. Oh, there's the picture I remember seeing earlier. Yeah, if you actually look at the picture, she's over here cooking, not paying attention to him. And he's over there bored, like, hey, I'm repressed. So there could be a male, especially Scorpio, who's not getting their needs met. And so they have a wandering eye and get bored easily. And so they could end up having an affair, being devious. What I'm really seeing here is somebody just hasn't revealed what they really like. And so once that gets done, you see a relationship therapist to either work on the relationship after having an affair, or after a menage a trois gone wrong, or whatnot. This third party could even be the therapist, not necessarily for sexual purposes, though. You can go see a sex therapist, perhaps. This is so out there. That means these aren't going to be for everybody. There's different groups here. But overall, there is some deviousness. And man, did they make the wands phallic, really? Okay, now here's what you guys said. I'm only going to pick the one off the top. It's the Fool, okay? So it's new beginnings coming towards you. Definitely passionate new beginnings. And oh goodness, like, seriously? That's a big detailed picture. Definitely flaccid, that's for sure. And look, he's like, ugly as fuck. Look at that. I'm like, ew. And then she's like, pretty. I'm like, what on earth? And he almost looks like he's not even there in the head. He's playing with a butterfly with his shoe. I mean, I don't know. This just gives me weird vibes. But it's a new start. I don't know really what to say about this card, guys. Well, with Seven of Cups, it talks about, you know, a new path, which I think you're going to be able to just kind of moderate whatever this is that's coming out, whether it's yours or somebody else's. There's going to be some kind of a compromise. But the Fool's also freedom, again. It's also talking about unordinary love. So I definitely see this coming through here. This could be you. You could be bored by like a partner. For instance, like you're not attracted to your partner and you're bored. That could be something here. Okay. Oh, well, maybe I do need to look at these. We have the Seven of Wands, which is really, I would never assume that for the other one. Okay, so maybe what we have here is like some kind of a fetish, if you look at it. They call it fantasy. So again, it could be something like that. And then afterward, we have the Eight of Wands. So Seven of Wands and Eight of Wands. Must not have shuffled very well. But this is what it is. So, thinking, the Fool and Eight of Wands, it does talk, Eight of Wands is a lot of passion. With the Fool, it's traveling. I don't really see a whole lot of traveling in here, though. Now, with Six of Pentacles in here in the Fool, it talks about unanticipated generosity. So somebody be really willing to work with somebody on something. But just because there's a flaccid penis in here, I think somebody's not exactly excited about whatever this might be. It may become that way. Or maybe they're just bored with sex in general, and they're like, hey, I really have this kind of fetish here. And then there's like reciprocity. That's what I could think. But lots of passion. Yeah. Okay, so let's see that's advice. Okay. I just used all the cards because they did all come out. All right, what is the outcome for Virgos for the month of 15? If you don't like these cards, I'm sorry, I'm just using them. It's the first time using them, so I don't really know how to use them, so I'm using them how I can. Okay, so, what? Oh, okay. Ace of Wands. Yeah, Ace of Wands. Okay, so we already have Ace of Wands. So not only you're going to follow your advice for sure, and that's all about no more emotional or sexual repression. And I don't think she's repressed very much. All right, and then next we have the Sun, so which is freedom, being out in the open, and that's what they're doing. They're just like out and about. I think it's interesting they have a wand there too. Lots of wands in here, lots of passion in this whole reading. And then we have the Queen of Wands now. There's a third party in here. I'm not sure why there's a barrel. Maybe that's a fetish for somebody, but also just odd. And even took off her crown. Wow. But it is lots of passion. It's also faithfulness as well. In the midst of, an odd relationship or an odd agreement. I really don't know what this other person is here for. Now this could be the Queen who's, we have the King over here perhaps, like he's in his night clothes. I thought it was, a little person at first, but it looks like he's just far behind in the background. Or that's how it's supposed to be. And this could be somebody else. It just depends. I mean, when you think of a king, I usually think of the other guy. So if she's a queen, that could be somebody cheating. And that could be the menage. All right, let's see what's on the bottom of the deck. Two of Pentacles. So again, there could be juggling of more than one person or conflicting belief, okay? Or trying to, just reconcile beliefs. And again, you have to go with your integrity. If you're not wanting to do something, you do have to let this person know, or they don't want to do something, you have to accept it. But somebody wants a committed relationship. I believe it's you, but they don't be willing to do certain things, and that's okay. Why this is all coming up in here? I never get the readings like this. So it must be the deck, like energy of the deck. They have penises intertwined. This is hilarious. Wow. I don't even know what to make of Two of Pentacles here. It looks dead is what it looks like. Alright. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed your reading. I don't even know what to title this video, honestly. Except maybe like, I don't know. If you have a coworker bully, it might turn very sexual. That Seven of Wands kind of threw me a little bit. I'm not sure exactly why that's here. But the only thing I can think of is maybe that's some kind of a rape fantasy, maybe. That's really all I can get from that thus far. Sometimes if I shuffle, I can just kind of think of more. Eight of Wands is very fast, especially with that Chariot, and that was all in the same area, like near each other. So again, I just see the need to slow down. I do see spontaneity for sure. Okay, I'm going to do some Lenormand with you guys. I should have been reading some of these things, because I wasn't. Okay, so we had the Two of Pentacles. It talks about voluptuous excitement, fun, and orgasm. I totally did not get that from the picture. Alright. Queen of Wands. I want to see what that one was about, because I had that King, I think, in there. Each partner has his or her needs. Know how to choose and understand when and how to satisfy. Love dies without initiative. So yeah, just giving and receiving. We had Ace of Wands, which sexuality comes from nature. Beginning of a loving relationship to be enthusiastically continued. And the Fool is the woman wants sex. The man sometimes loses himself in useless daydreams. Okay, that could be the repression. So basically this says the woman wants sex. Lightheartedness and freedom carry heavy sacrifices. Again, if you're wanting that freedom like the Fool, there's usually some kind of price to pay. But I'm seeing you're getting freedom. But again, there's going to have to be some kind of compromise is what I'm thinking. I think that was the only major arcana I pulled from this deck. See, Two of Wands, we had that, talked about shyness and reserve and first experience. So somebody may be wanting to bring up something, but they're too afraid to. And also there'd be somebody who's too afraid to bring something up because the other person hasn't tried it, as opposed to themselves. Eight of Wands means commitment regarding the final objective. So whatever it is you want a commitment about it. And it's just lots of change, mentally, physically, lots of movement. Okay. All right, so the Seven of Wands says a part of an undertaking is complete. So somebody's kind of getting into something, but it's not completely committed yet. And then it says a surprise or something that's daring. So yeah, that could be a lot of things. Okay, let's see what Ten of Pentacles tells us. Because it did look like it was repression in a relationship, or being bored with that woman stirring. Okay, changing fortune. So yeah, even if somebody's not happy, it's going to change, especially sexually. Courtship, projects, material goods are not enough. Money's not going to keep you happy. All right, good news there. All right, I just want to read those real quick. I hope you guys have a good month. It looks like it might be. Be happy.